The Avant Champion. Rising. Written by C.B. Samet. Narrated by Harriet Seed. Chapter 1. All things considered, it was a good day to die. The warm sand pressed against my hands and knees, and the roaring of high tide resounded on the distant rocks below the cliff. The setting sun cast elongated shadows, like weary, stretching tendrils before the slumber of night. Sea salt and wood smoke scents floated through the air. I looked back at the burning embers near me, a dying fire. Blackened burnt wood, intermixed with grey ash sprinkled with fading amber light. I didn't want to die, but I could see no other option. My purpose was to die, on this day, at this moment, by the hand of evil. 18 days earlier. I should have been grateful, really. I was grateful to have a job, even if it wasn't ideal. Knowing that there were people without jobs meant I should really appreciate having one, and I should appreciate my brother Paul for getting me the job. This was an advantage of being the younger sister of the finance minister of Queen Rebekah of Marrington. One of the disadvantages was always being reminded of how grateful I should be, which Paul managed to do whenever we crossed paths since I started my new job. After gazing across the great ballroom to the dining hall, I looked back down at the schematics in my hand. It appeared that all of the busts were properly arranged, as were the floral decorations. I pulled a handkerchief out of my skirt pocket and brushed off a spot of dust from the Queen Consort's balding bronze head. Leaning over to one side, I breathed deeply the sweet scent of pink roses set against a background of gold and silver draperies. I crossed the polished floor to the dining hall, thinking of that sweet smell and what I would give for a pastry right now, just as sweet. Having not eaten breakfast at all since the preparative work for the ball, I could already imagine vast trays of mouth-watering food splayed across the buffet table. The dining hall was grandiose, with 5 enormous windows, a balcony, and 5 glimmering chandeliers. It would soon be filled with hundreds of people for the night's annual celebration of V-Day. Reaching the Queen's vacant chair, I dusted the rich mahogany one last time and made sure that Her Majesty's water glass was located within arm's reach of her seat. Gingerly, I touched the plush maroon cushion. How strange and frightening would it be to sit before hundreds of people as a leader, a ruler, a queen. "Right, everyone, spit spot, best behaviour," Leonard called out to the crowd of servants. We gathered around him for one last meeting before the grand event. He was a lean man with a thin, crooked nose and sagging cheeks that dangled below his jawline like a bulldog. Marcy leaned towards me, whispering, "It's the same pep talk nonsense before the ball every year. Spit spot, best behaviour, everyone." She snacked on a piece of licorice and rolled her eyes. "He's completely elliptical." Loose strands of brown hair had escaped the 2 tight knots drawn behind her ears. I suppressed a grin at her insult. Tuning out Leonard's droning voice, I looked around at the bulging room. It was filled with tidy, pressed black and grey uniforms standing at attention. The waitstaff was in white, the greeting staff in navy blue, and the Queen's assistants in black. Since I had only been there a few months, I scarcely knew a dozen servants. Nevertheless, a common theme seemed to prevail among them. They had all performed to the best of their ability in hopes of some recognition and promotion. In doing so, they created a perpetually priggish, competitive environment. Macy was different, though, more like me. This was a temporary job, to get us by until other opportunities arose. Mine was the opportunity to have money to finish my studies at the university. We had no intention of a lifetime commitment of servitude to Her Majesty, however remarkable she may be. After the servant assembly, we had a half-hour break to eat and ready ourselves for the onslaught of hungry, thirsty guests eager to revel at court with the Queen. Once the festivities began, we alternated hour after hour, kneeling or standing at Her Majesty's side. It was such a relief when she asked for something, a glass of water, a sniff of potpourri, a chocolate truffle, so that I might move just a little. Aside from that, she did not dance, nor
Sample complete. Ready to continue?